Mercury Satou Sabally could be in hot water over controversial Morant-Like celebration versus Lynx. The WNBA has always been a league built on fierce competition, passion, and the spotlight of star athletes who embrace their individuality both on and off the court. But every now and then, a celebration, gesture, or moment of heated intensity sparks debate across fans, analysts, and league officials. That is exactly what has unfolded in the aftermath of the Phoenix Mercury's most recent clash with the Minnesota Lynx, when forward Satou Sabally found herself at the center of a swirling controversy after mimicking a celebration that drew comparisons to NBA star Ja Morant's most talked-about moments. What started as a high-stakes battle between two playoff contending teams has quickly spiraled into a debate on player expression, sportsmanship, and the fine line between confidence and disrespect. Sabally's celebration, performed in the heat of competition after a crucial bucket late in the fourth quarter, has now become one of the most discussed talking points of the Mercury's season, and possibly a moment that could carry consequences for the talented star. A heated matchup that set the stage. The game itself between the Mercury and the Lynx was already shaping up to be one for the books. Phoenix entered the contest with playoff positioning on the line, while Minnesota, a franchise known for its grit and defensive tenacity, was eager to make a statement against a rival. The intensity on the court was palpable from the opening tip, with both teams trading baskets, defensive stops, and physical play that kept fans on edge. Sabally, who has been one of the Mercury's most dynamic and versatile players this season, was locked in from the jump. Known for her ability to score inside, stretch the floor, and defend multiple positions, she was tasked with being both a stabilizing force and an emotional leader for her team. Throughout the game, her energy was evident, not just in her play but also in her body language and the fire she brought after every big moment. By the fourth quarter, the game was still hanging in the balance. The Mercury needed a spark, and Sabally delivered with a clutch basket over her defender that brought the home crowd to its feet. It was in that moment that she unleashed the celebration now sparking headlines, performing a gesture eerily similar to those popularized by Ja Morant during his time in the NBA spotlight. The celebration and its immediate impact. The act itself seemed simple at first glance, a swagger-filled gesture, one that conveyed intensity, confidence, and maybe even a touch of defiance. Yet, it was also a move that carried baggage, given its close association with Morant, who has faced his share of controversies off the court for similar displays. For some fans, the parallel was instantly recognizable, and the chatter began almost as quickly as the highlight clip spread across social media. On the court, the celebration was met with mixed reactions. Teammates rallied around Sabally, hyping her up as the crowd roared. The Lynx players, however, did not appear impressed, with some looking visibly frustrated and others perhaps taking note of the gesture for potential motivation. The officials let play resume, but the moment lingered. By the time the final buzzer sounded, the Mercury had secured a hard-fought victory. Yet, as the players left the court, the conversation wasn't just about the win, it was about Sabally's celebration, whether it crossed the line, and what it might mean for her going forward. Why the celebration is drawing controversy. The heart of the controversy stems not just from the celebration itself but from the symbolism attached to it. In today's sports culture, every gesture, dance, or signal is dissected and debated, especially when it ties back to a polarizing figure like Ja Morant. Morant's own celebrations, though entertaining to fans, have often been criticized as brash or unsportsmanlike. Pair that with his off-court issues, and anything resembling his mannerisms carries an extra layer of scrutiny. For Sabally to channel that same energy, especially in a league where sportsmanship and professionalism are held in particularly high regard, was bound to spark debate. Critics argue that such a gesture is disrespectful to opponents, especially in a league that has been working hard to grow its fan base and cultivate an image of discipline and respect. They suggest that Sabally, as a rising star and role model, should avoid actions that could be perceived as taunting or antagonistic. Supporters, on the other hand, see the moment as nothing more than a player expressing herself in the heat of competition. To them, sports are about passion and emotion, and Sabally's celebration was simply a reflection of her excitement and intensity in a pivotal moment. they argue that penalizing or condemning such expressions risks stripping the game of its authenticity and fun. Possible league response. The WNBA has historically taken issues of conduct seriously, especially when player gestures or actions could be construed as unsportsmanlike. While Sabally's celebration did not involve profanity, physical confrontation, or any direct targeting of another player, the fact that it is being widely debated raises the question of whether the league might step in. Potential responses could range from a quiet warning behind the scenes to a public statement reminding players of the importance of sportsmanship. Fines or suspensions seem unlikely in this case, but the incident could certainly prompt discussions within the league office about how celebrations are policed and where the line should be drawn. For Sabally herself, even the perception of being in hot water could carry consequences beyond the court. Sponsors, fans, and media narratives all play a role in shaping a player's image, and being associated with controversy, even something as seemingly minor as a celebration, can impact how an athlete is viewed. The broader conversation on player expression. This incident also highlights a larger debate that spans across all sports. Where is the balance between personal expression and respect for the game? Celebrations have long been a contentious topic, whether it's touchdown dances in the NFL, bat flips in baseball, or choreographed routines in soccer. In recent years, leagues have become more accepting of these expressions, recognizing that they add entertainment value and showcase the personalities of athletes. Fans often gravitate toward players who aren't afraid to show emotion, and younger audiences in particular appreciate authenticity and flair. Yet, there remains a fine line. When a celebration is seen as mocking an opponent or aligning with a controversial figure, it risks backlash. Sabally's situation perfectly encapsulates this tension, as her gesture simultaneously energized her team and divided public opinion. Teammates and opponents react. Inside the Mercury locker room, Sabally's teammates reportedly saw the moment as a symbol of her competitive fire. For a team fighting to prove itself in a crowded playoff race, having a leader who shows confidence and swagger can be invaluable. Players often rally behind teammates who aren't afraid to step into the spotlight and embrace the pressure.